Welcome to Travel with Danny and MJ.
I'm Mary Jane.
And I'm Danny. We're traveling the world with just carry-ons and a backpack each.
Follow along on our adventures ahead.
So Istanbul has a wealth of religious sites, the famous mosques, as well as ancient history. And we got to see a lot of it. Like the first thing we went to see, one of the first things we went to see anyway, is the Blue Mosque.
So the Blue Mosque, you're going to see, is amazing. We were booked on a different tour, and that kind of got messed up. So we got put on this tour, and we were unprepared because to enter the mosques, you have to be modest and cover your shoulders, your legs, and women have to cover their heads. And so we had to borrow their
So you'll see
things.
what happens to us.
We're in the Blue Mosque, and it is beautiful and magnificent. It's a high dome. I think the guide said it was 53 meters high. It has been architected with earthquake resistance in mind. Also, all of these lights were originally candles, so they set up the mosque to ensure that the smoke would be pushed out to the side so they could collect that, make ink, actually, which is interesting. More of the mosques, and the entrances were designed to ensure that the candle smoke would be moved to the sides and not go up into the main dome. It's also designed with four giant columns holding it up, but then a lattice work of other columns that are designed, for earthquake resistance. We're in the kind of courtyard of the Blue Mosque, which is a pretty impressive spot. In a park outside of the Blue Mosque, a pretty fountain. It's a beautiful day here.
So then we went to Hagia Sophia. Wow, talk about history.
Yeah, it's probably, I think, the most famous site in Istanbul. And it has been around for thousands of years, and it has many different lives, many different ways it was used and continues to be used to this day.
And it's pretty gorgeous.
Yeah, have a look.
This is the Hagia Sophia. The famous was a church and then became a mosque, and a number of different things through the centuries. We are in the Hagia Sophia Mosque. This is the third version of it. It's been destroyed a couple of times. It was originally built as a cathedral, a church. It has been converted into a mosque, and then it was converted into a museum. And now it's kind of a hybrid museum and mosque for a few years now. These calligraphy plates were put in on one of the repairs here, done in, I believe, in the 1800s. So when the Emperor Justinian rebuilt the Hagia Sophia Cathedral for, I think, the third time in the 6th century. It was the largest church in the world at that time. So we're outside of the Hagia Sophia. The brick buildings are from the church when it was a cathedral, and then later on they added the minarets when it became a mosque.
After Hagia Sophia, we also saw an even older church called the Hagia Irene, which there's not much of it, but it's pretty interestingly historic.
This is Hagia Irene Church, which was the oldest church created by the Romans before Hagia Sophia.
Süleymaniye Mosque, another wow. The history, the views, it's incredible.
The weather we had that day. I mean, what a gorgeous day and what a gorgeous place.
And look, you'll see the views.
We are about to go in the Süleymaniye Mosque. It was built between 1550 and 1557 by the order of the Sultan Süleymaniye I, who was the greatest Ottoman emperor at the time. It was designed to rival the architectural splendor of Hagia Sophia and cement his legacy as the divine ruler. The mosque was created by Mimar Sinan, the greatest Ottoman architect. The mosque is a profound study in Ottoman architectural symmetry. Here in the courtyard, there's 4 minarets that you can see, 2 tall at the outer corners of the main building, 2 shorter at the courtyard corners, and they're symmetrically placed to frame the entire complex. The mosque is built on a rectangular floor plan with a central dome flanked by semi-domes and smaller domes. The main dome is almost 174 feet high, that's 53 meters, and 90 feet or 27.5 meters across. The main dome is supported by 4 massive piers and flanked by 2 semi-domes. It really is very similar to Hagia Sophia, but it's more proportionate, so some say it's more elegant. The smaller domes cascade outward in mirrored pairs, creating a rhythmic hierarchy of volume and light. The Süleymaniye Mosque is not just an architectural masterpiece. It is said as a triumph of acoustics and environmental engineering centuries ahead of its time. Mimar Sinan, the architect, created a space that is said to sing with sacred sound and breathe clean air. He engineered it to amplify and distribute sound evenly so that the sound can be heard clearly throughout the whole place. There are acoustic reflectors in the central dome and semi-domes, and then there is an air circulation system because he built in vents and slits near the base of the dome and upper walls that will allow the warm air and smoke from all the what would have been candles in those days enter out of the main hall and go into a special room, and it was collected, and there was a room called the soot chamber or ink room, and then they took all of that and they made ink.
We're strolling through the gardens just outside of the mosque. It's really a beautiful, peaceful place. Back here is the mausoleum for Süleymaniye the Magnificent, who was the Ottoman emperor, who had this mosque in this area built, and his wife, who was other cemetery here. Part of the courtyard here, part of the gardens outside of the Süleymaniye Mosque overlooks the Golden Horn. It's the bridge we walked across over Asia, the Bosphorus, over to Galata Tower. Pretty impressive view.
And the last place that we visited in this video, anyway, is called the Basilica Cistern. It's not really specifically a religious site, but it was an amazing ancient part of when the Roman Empire was running Istanbul, or Byzantium at that time.
It's a really unique place in the city, and the way that they have laid it out now for visitors, there's like paths you walk on, because you'll see it all has to do with the water, and the lighting is very cool. So yeah, it's really great. Recommend you go there.
And there's an interesting little pop culture trivia bit in there.
This is the Basilica Cistern, which was where they stored water back in the days of Byzantium and Constantinople. It was the largest one for Istanbul. It's all subterranean. So the Basilica Cistern was used for meeting the water needs of the people of, at that time, had been changed to Constantinople. It was built by the Emperor Justinian in the 6th century, the mid-500s. Water was fed here from forests outside of the city, because even though we had our nautical adventures here in Istanbul, and the place is surrounded by and water flows through the city, none of it is drinkable water. So they did have kind of drinkable water in the winter time. I guess it's more of a rainy or snowy season. But in the summer, they had to store that water and make it available to the people from this and other cisterns in the city. The Basilica Cistern is 140 meters long, 90 meters wide, and 9 meters high. One of the things they did was one of the ways people could attack the city was to poison the water supply. So they would put fish in this water, and if the fish died, they knew it had been poisoned. And if the fish were alive, they knew the water was okay. They also had to put air holes through the ceiling to keep the fish alive as well. There are almost 400 columns inside the cistern. When it was discovered, they thought it was an underground palace because of the ornate columns. Some of the columns have decorative crowns, and other ones are very kind of simple. The reason is the decorative ones were taken from other temples. Justinian was a Christian emperor, so he would reuse things from the old pagan Greek or Roman temples, to those gods, weren't Christian gods, and reuse them. So these columns, the ones that have decorative column headers, were taken from those kinds, and the other ones are just holding the ceiling up. So if you saw the James Bond movie, From Russia with Love, he comes in here at one point, and back in those days in the 60s when they made that movie, this cistern was about halfway full with water. So now it's just a small amount of water for aesthetics, but there was a lot more water in here, and there were fish in the water. In that movie, he makes two mistakes. He says it was built by Constantine. It was not built, it was built by Justinian. And the other mistake is he was trying to get to the Russian embassy, which is like a kilometer away from here. As I mentioned earlier, this cistern is about 140 meters long. So only James Bond could take a boat in this water and get all the way to the Russian embassy.
We hope you enjoyed this video on some of the great sights we saw in Istanbul.
Thanks for watching. See you soon.
Thanks for traveling with Danny and MJ.
We look forward to seeing you on our next adventure.